All right, Chiefs Kingdom, we've got breaking news to talk about because Kansas City just made another move in the backfield. And this one could quietly become a very important piece of the offense. The Chiefs have signed running back Emari Demercado, formerly of the Arizona Cardinals, and at first glance this might look like a depth move. But when you start digging into the details, it's pretty clear this signing could be a lot more than that. In fact, there's a real chance Demercado could step in as the RB2 in this offense, and possibly even take on the third down role. Now, if you're wondering why Kansas City made this move, the answer is actually pretty simple. The Chiefs wanted more explosiveness and versatility in their running back room. Demercado brings both. Over his career in Arizona, he put up over 100 total yards from scrimmage and showed he can contribute in multiple ways. He's not just a traditional runner. He can catch passes out of the backfield, operate in shotgun formations, and provide a change-of-pace option that keeps defenses guessing. And that versatility matters a lot in an offense run by Andy Reid and led by Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs' system relies heavily on backs who can do more than just run between the tackles. They need players who can block, catch passes, line up in different formations, and keep the offense unpredictable. Demercado checks a lot of those boxes. Another interesting part of this signing is the timing. Kansas City has clearly been focused on upgrading the running game this offseason. After a year where the run game lacked explosive plays and became somewhat predictable, the front office appears determined to raise both the floor and the ceiling of the entire position group. Demercado could play a big role in that. He's still relatively fresh in terms of career workload, meaning there's not a ton of wear and tear on his body. That's always something teams value when bringing in a complementary back. And at around 5'9" and just over 210 pounds, he has the size to handle NFL contact while still maintaining quickness and agility. But what might matter most is his potential role on passing downs. Kansas City has been searching for a reliable third down back, someone who can catch passes, protect Mahomes in pass protection, and keep defenses honest. If Demercado proves he can handle that responsibility, this signing could turn out to be much more important than people initially think. Because if the Chiefs suddenly have a back who can run effectively, catch passes, and protect the quarterback, it opens up the entire playbook. And when the playbook opens up for Patrick Mahomes, that's when defenses across the league start to panic. Now, before we go any further, real quick, if you're enjoying the breakdown, please hit that like button. It's a huge help for the algorithm. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe as we push toward 7,000 subscribers. Also, a massive thank you to everyone using the Super Thanks feature. Your support directly funds this channel and keeps us independent. Thanks for being the best fans in the NFL. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Emari Demercado can become the Chiefs' RB2 this season? Vote yes or no in the comments, because in the next chapter, we're going to break down exactly what he brings to this offense, and why his skill set might fit Kansas City better than people realize. All right, so now that we know the Chiefs have brought in Emari Demercado, the next big question becomes pretty simple. What exactly does he bring to this offense? Because if this move is going to matter, and there's a real chance it could, it's going to come down to how his skill set fits inside Andy Reid's system. And when you start looking at the details, there are actually a few things that really stand out. First, Demercado brings speed and explosiveness to the position. One of the biggest issues with the Chiefs' running game last season was the lack of big plays. The offense could move the ball, but the explosive runs just weren't there consistently. Defenses weren't scared of a back suddenly breaking off a 30 or 40-yard run. Demercado has the type of speed in specific situations. Put all of that together, and you start to see why the Chiefs might like this move. They're adding a back who can run, catch, block, and create mismatches. And those are the types of players Andy Reid loves using. But now the bigger picture question becomes this: how does Demercado fit into the entire running back room? Because Kansas City didn't just add one piece this offseason. They've been reshaping the entire group. And the difference between last year's backfield and this year's might be massive. Before we get into that in the next chapter, quick reminder. If you're enjoying the breakdown, please hit that like button. It helps the channel more than you might think. And if you want daily Chiefs updates like this, make sure you subscribe so we can reach that 7,000 subscriber goal. And again, huge appreciation to everyone supporting the channel with super thanks. It truly keeps this channel going. Now here's the question for you. If Demercado does become a key part of the offense, how would you want the Chiefs to use him? Would you rather see him mainly as a third down back, or do you think he should be the true RB2 in the rotation? Let me know in the comments, because in the next chapter, we're going to look at the entire running back room and why the Chiefs may have quietly turned one of their weakest positions into one of their most dangerous. Now, let's zoom out for a second, because the signing of Emari Demercado isn't just about one player. It's about what the Kansas City Chiefs appear to be doing with the entire running back room. And when you compare this group to what the Chiefs had last season, the difference might be bigger than people realize. Last year, one of the biggest problems with the Kansas City offense was predictability in the run game. Defenses often had a good idea of what was coming, depending on which running back was on the field. Certain players were used almost exclusively for specific situations, and that made it easier for opposing defenses to anticipate plays. When a defense can predict what's coming, even the best offense in the league can stall out. That's part of what Kansas City seems determined to fix. The goal now appears to be building a running back room where multiple players can do multiple things. Instead of having a clear run-only back or a clear pass-only back, the Chiefs want versatility across the board. And that's exactly where Demercado fits in. He gives the offense another player who can run between the tackles, catch passes out of the backfield, and operate effectively in shotgun formations. That alone makes the offense more flexible. Defenses can't simply assume what the play will be based on who lines up next to Patrick Mahomes. That kind of unpredictability is huge for Andy Reid's offense. Think about how dangerous the Chiefs become when defenses have to respect both the run and the pass on every single snap. Suddenly, linebackers hesitate for just a split second. Safeties can't cheat toward the passing game as aggressively. Pass rushers have to be more disciplined. That's when big plays start happening. Another key factor here is explosiveness. Kansas City's running game last season struggled to produce chunk plays. There simply weren't enough runs that flipped field position or put pressure on defenses. When the run game becomes explosive, it changes how defenses call the game. If a defense believes a running back can break off a 25-yard gain at any moment, they start committing extra attention to stopping the run. That creates lighter coverage boxes and more opportunities for Patrick Mahomes to attack downfield. And we all know what happens when Mahomes gets those kinds of opportunities. That's part of why improving the running back room can have a ripple effect on the entire offense. A stronger run game leads to better play action. Better play action creates bigger throwing windows. Bigger throwing windows make life easier for the quarterback and the receivers. And suddenly, the whole offense starts operating more efficiently. What makes this off-season interesting is that Kansas City seems to be addressing this issue from multiple angles. Instead of relying on just one player to carry the run game, they're building depth and variety in the backfield. That's a smart approach over a long NFL season. Running backs take a lot of punishment, and having multiple capable options keeps players fresh, while also giving the coaching staff more flexibility with play design. And if Demercado proves he can contribute as both a runner and receiver, this backfield rotation could become one of the more versatile groups the Chiefs have had in years. Before we move on to the final chapter, quick reminder, if you're enjoying the breakdown, please hit that like button. It's a massive help for the channel and helps more Chiefs fans find these videos. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so we can reach that 7,000 subscriber goal. Also, a big thank you to everyone who supports the channel with super thanks. It genuinely helps keep this channel independent and growing. Now I want to hear your opinion. Do you think the Chiefs' running back room is now better than it was last season? Let me know in the comments, because in the final chapter, we're going to talk about the bigger picture and why these moves could completely change how the Chiefs' offense looks this year. Now let's talk about the bigger picture, because this move and the other changes the Chiefs have made in the backfield could have a much larger impact on the offense than people initially think. When you look at Kansas City over the last several seasons, one thing has remained consistent. The offense goes as far as Patrick Mahomes can take it. That's obvious. He's one of the most dynamic quarterbacks the league has ever seen, and the entire system is built around maximizing his ability to create plays. But even the best quarterback in football benefits from a strong running game. When defenses believe the run game is dangerous, everything changes. Linebackers have to respect play action. Safeties can't sit deep on every snap waiting for the pass. Defensive coordinators are forced to balance their approach instead of constantly dialing up pressure or flooding coverage zones. That balance is what the Chiefs are trying to create again. If the run game becomes more explosive and more unpredictable, it opens the door for the offense to become even more dangerous. Suddenly, play action becomes more effective. Screen plays become more threatening. Short passes can turn into big gains because defenders are reacting instead of attacking. And that's exactly the environment where Mahomes thrives. Think about it from a defensive perspective for a moment. If you're facing Kansas City, and the running backs can beat you both on the ground and through the air, you're constantly guessing. You don't know if the play is going to be a power run, a swing pass, a screen, or a deep play action shot down the field. That hesitation, even if it's just half a second, is often the difference between stopping a play and giving up a huge gain. Adding players like Emari Demercado helps create that hesitation. He gives the offense another option who can contribute in multiple ways. Whether he ends up becoming the RB2, a third down specialist, or simply part of a rotation, the key point is this: he adds flexibility to the offense. And flexibility is one of the most powerful tools Andy Reid has as a play caller. When Reid has versatile players, he can design formations, motions, and play concepts that keep defenses guessing. Running backs who can line up in different spots, catch passes, and run effectively out of multiple looks make the entire offense more creative. That's when Kansas City becomes really difficult to defend. So while this signing might not grab national headlines, it could turn out to be one of those smart roster moves that quietly improves the offense over time. Sometimes it's not the blockbuster trades or massive contracts that make the biggest difference. Sometimes it's the depth moves that give your offense more options, more versatility, and more unpredictability. And if this running back room continues to develop the way the Chiefs hope, it might end up being one of the more underrated improvements on the roster heading into the season. Before we wrap things up, real quick, if you're enjoying the breakdown, please hit that like button. It's a huge help for the algorithm. And if you want more Chiefs news like this, make sure you subscribe so we can reach that 7,000 subscriber goal. Also, a massive thank you to everyone using the Super Thanks feature. Your support directly funds this channel and keeps us independent. Thanks for being the best fans in the NFL. Now, I want your final take. How many rushing yards do you think the Chiefs' top running back will have this season? Drop your prediction in the comments below. And, as always, stay locked with Total Chiefs News. Hail Chiefs!